What's going on, everybody? It's officially Oktoberfest season, and today we got a great recipe where we're going to use a local Oktoberfest beer for an appetizer that you are going to love on the smoker. So let's get started. All right, guys, so to start this recipe, I actually went to my local grocery store in the deli here, Fresh Time Market, and they had some uncooked, which is what you want, an uncooked bratwurst, but they had uncooked beer brats. The gentleman there was actually super nice. I only really wanted 3 of them for this recipe. Told him what I was making. He kind of smiled. He goes, hey, I'm going to throw in a few more of them because we got a new guy making them. Not as big as they're supposed to be. So shout out to the gentleman there at Fresh Time for hooking me up. But even though they were beer brats, I could smell it's probably soaked in like a Busch Light. Let's be honest, what this was soaked in. So I just say, you know what, I'm going to double soak it in another beer. I grabbed an Oktoberfest, put those brats in there. They've been sitting there for about 2 hours. So we're going to get these on the smoker. So because they are that uncooked bratwurst and we don't want them to like lose those juices, we actually want to keep that smoker at a lower temperature, somewhere about 225 to 250 max. So they take a slower time to cook, let those juices stay inside of that skin that's around it, as well that casing. And with that happening, it may take 90 minutes to almost 2 hours for them to really get that full internal temp we're looking for. So we're going to get these on the smoker in a minute, let them cook almost all the way through, and then we'll start, and then when we're about halfway at that point, we'll make our cheese dip, get it on the smoker. Then we'll be ready to pull these off. We're going to actually pull the casings off today, chop them up a little bit and use as a topping, put them back on the smoker for a little bit and go from there. So let's get these on the smoker, my friends. Probably my little rack here may not be big enough, but we're going to see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and smoke them all, although I will not need them all for today's recipe. So I'm going to use them for something else for dinner later on tonight. Oh, you can smell that Oktoberfest beer. So I used here locally the 4 Hands Oktoberfest for this one when I was kind of letting them brine and sit in the refrigerator. If you live here in the St. Louis region, check out like Bluewood Brewing, check out Blue Jay Brewing, check out Modern Brewing, and some other breweries. They have some great Oktoberfest, but let's get these on the smoker. Now I'm going to use some applewood and a little hickory on there today as well. All right, guys, we'll come back and check on these in about an hour and get that dip ready. All right, friends, so a little technical difficulties, and it helps when you actually hit the record button. So let me show you what I did that you guys did not get to see off camera. So in my Lodge cast iron here, I have 8 ounces of cream cheese. I left it out so it could soften just a little bit. Then I took about a cup of shredded smoked Gouda, as well as about a cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese, both of those from blocks. I did not use the bag stuff. Remember, we try to go as fresh as we can. Then I topped it off with just about a teaspoon of garlic powder, dash of salt and pepper, and then I hit it with about 8 ounces of Oktoberfest beer. You know who gets the rest, right, my friends? So we're going to put this on the smoker. Those brats have been going here for about 45 minutes-ish, so by the time this gets melted and I come back and stir it here in about 15 minutes, it might be time to start looking at those brats, temp them, probe them, just to see where we are, because we might be taking those off, pulling those casings off, chopping them up, put them on top of our dip, and put it back in the smoker. But for now, let's get the cheese dip on there, all right? Okay, guys, so as you can see, I still have 2 of my brats on my cutting board. That skin still popped open, a little bit of heat still coming out. I got the skin off the first one here just to show you that kind of got a little chop on it. Not a super fine chop. There's gonna be some bigger pieces there as well. I'll tell you what, this smells amazing. Maybe it's because I bought those uncooked beer brats that have been soaked probably in a cheaper beer, and then I re-soaked them in that Oktoberfest. This smells amazing. So give me a moment off camera. I'm gonna get the rest of this chopped up. By that time, we should be ready to get that cheese dip off the smoker as well. And we're gonna top it off with some of this brats and then get it back on top of that smoke for just a few more minutes before we enjoy those pretzel bites. Okay, friends? All right, you guys, I'm getting this cheese dip off. It is bubbly hot of that smoker there. So seeing how hot this is and just checking out, I got 2 options here. I could either let it cool for a moment and then place some of that bratwurst on top, put it back on the smoker to warm back up, or I could do something a little different, which I think I'm gonna pivot right now and do that, is we're gonna take just a little bit of that bratwurst. So I'm not gonna use it all, I'm gonna use about half of what I got here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put some of it so it's inside of that cheese mix. All right, so we got a little bit there. Put the lid back on this because the flies will find it if I don't. We'll go ahead and blend that together. Oh, this smells amazing, my friends. Holy cow, I can smell the Gouda and that Oktoberfest, to be honest. All right, get the gloves back on. Back on the smoker. I'm gonna let it go back on the smoker here for about maybe 5-10 more minutes, and then we'll pull it off, let it cool, put some more of that bratwurst on top, and we'll enjoy it with those warm pretzel bites. All right, you guys, so as you can see, I brought out a big platter. I'm putting like a little silicone heating pad in the middle of this platter so I can just set that cast iron right here in the middle. I'm only doing it because of cast iron. I know the plate can take the heat, but that cast iron's been sitting on that grate and that smoke, and I just don't want to stain my nice platter here as well. So, and then under here, I've got some warm pretzel bites that I brought from inside the house. You can get any pretzel bites you want, maybe some frozen ones, heat them up. You can get some fresh ones. Maybe you have a pretzel place nearby, does some hot and fresh ones you can get as well. Whatever you want to use for these, but you can't go wrong with those pretzel bites, friends. So let's go ahead and get that cheese off of the smoker. And once again, bubbly hot. Let's go ahead and put that right here in the middle. And then we're going to, I'm gonna grab my spoon here real quick that I was using. Mix this together as well. While we're mixing, it'll begin to cool pretty quickly here, I'm sure, outdoors. It smells so good. Just the smells of autumn right here in this bowl, my friends. Holy crap. This is gonna be delicious. All right, so there we go. So that's ready to go. So what we'll do next is we're gonna go ahead and top it off. I told you these flies are out again today, my friends. They seem like they've been out all summer, although it's kind of like the last day of summer, I think. So as I'm filming this, we just put ourselves a heaping mound of that chopped up bratwurst right here in the middle. You can stir it up later if you want. You know what? I did chop it all up, so I might as well use all, right? Okay, there's that. Get that out of our way, and then we'll grab those fresh pretzel bites. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take those and kind of put those around my bowl, my cast iron. Probably should have made twice as many pretzel bites for as much dip as I have here, but you know what? We're gonna be okay. All right. All right, my friends. There is that cast iron full of that Oktoberfest beer cheese dip. Bratwurst inside and on top, pretzel bites. I'm gonna pause for a moment, let it continue to cool. We'll come back and give it a taste test here in just a moment. It's time for that taste test. Here we go. Let's dig right on in. Try that beer cheese. Get a little piece of that brat in there as well. Oh, it's nice and warm still as that runs down my fingers here. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Wow. The flavors of that Oktoberfest beer, that Gouda, that Cheddar, and even for just a few minutes we mixed in a little bit of those brats. Some of the juices from those brats get in there as well. Absolutely delicious, my friends. You guys are going to enjoy this. I'm glad I got a little bit left in my last can of Oktoberfest as well. Prost, my friends. Hope you enjoy this recipe. Have a great Oktoberfest, a great autumn, a great fall. Just make sure you get outdoors to try this recipe on your smoker, okay? Everything you need to know, recipe included, will be in the description. We'll see you guys again on Bones and Brews.